You're married. How long have you been married now?
6 years.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Are kids in the foreseeable future here?
You know, it's funny that you say that. I would love to be at a point in my life where I could have kids. And the thing is, I've always had to work so much recently. So that's one thing we're definitely working on, is finding more balance. So we are, we don't have the Daily Wire budget. We're not exactly running the Jim Henson budget that you have here in your heat lamps. But getting 16, I would take a 12-hour day most days, and maybe a 10-hour day here or there outside of Sunday, and I think I'd have a more balanced life. So they are in the future, just not right now.
How does your wife deal with all this? I mean,
it's hard. It's hard. Yeah, it is hard on my wife. She's very supportive. She worked. She was a vice president of a contract furniture company. She probably get you some chairs that don't squeak. And she left the job, and she doesn't work for me or the company full time, but she's really good interpersonally. People love her. So for showing a guest around, or if we need to help kind of book some travel, she's been very helpful. And for her, that's been really relieving. I think this is with a lot of women. They think they have to work their way up, and she did. She worked her way up in a company, but realized that's not really what she wanted to do. It is hard on her. It's just like probably. Well, your wife is a doctor, obviously.
Indeed. Yeah.
Yes,
so that's the rumor.
And a very attractive lady. Your wife. You've done very well for yourself. With us, with what we do, because like you said, I say this respectfully, my show is substantially more of a workload to put a daily show, like a late night show.
Yeah, comedy shows have to be written.
Yes, and we do the sketches and the production.
Right.
It's really difficult. So it's kind of like we had Brian Shaw, World's Strongest Man, on the show recently. We had Daniel Cormier, current UFC light heavyweight champion, and it really is a partnership where their wives have to support them in a way that's not typical. And I know some women are going to be furious when they hear this, but it is a volunteer role. But my wife has kind of accepted that, okay, Steven's going to need a little more support, because he doesn't even have, if I don't help him with lunch, he's not going to take 20 minutes to eat. And that comes down to, when I'm done working, listening to her, making sure that her needs are met. That's a really important thing. If we're going to bitch about feminism, then we need to talk about being real men. And that means, yes, I know it sounds namby-pamby, but meeting your wife's needs, making sure and that's not just physically and financially. We're talking about spiritually, emotionally, making sure that they feel heard, that they feel safe. So it really has been a learning process. And I will say that contrary to some people who we know, my wife's a very strong. Have you ever met my wife?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. You met my wife. Yeah, she's a very strong personality.
Yeah.
So for us, there was a lot of clashing early on, as opposed to some friends who were both type B personalities, where they never argued. But some of these people just got divorced. I'm like, well, what happened? They'd never gone to marital counseling. They'd never had a fight. And the first fight was the blowout. Whereas my wife and I, the arc is, it was a lot tougher early on, and it got easier.
Do you think you've both gotten better at marriage, or you've just rounded off each other's edges a little bit?
I think we've both. Now I've been listening to too much DMX. Both. We've both gotten better at marriage and communication, for sure. And I think a big part of it is really learning that people inherently are selfish. Men struggle with pornography. Men always have. For women, the pornography is a romantic comedy in The Bachelor, right? If he'll love me just the way I am. No man loves you just the way you are. He loves you as you are, but there are things he doesn't like about you. Just like, a woman won't try to change me. A woman's always going to try to change you. I don't have a problem with it. It means they're trying to better you. Now, if you become the only one that you're working on, if I'm working on me and she's working on me, then that's a problem. When we started our marriage, there was a lot of that. I was the project. I needed a lot of work. And now we've both worked on ourselves and learned how to communicate more effectively. And I do think that is something that's really important, in high-pressure positions or high-profile positions. People mocked Mike Pence. That's a good example. A lot of people don't understand. For example, if you're alone in a car with a woman who's not your wife, someone can snap a picture and it's a big deal, even if nothing happened.
This is correct.
There are certain pressures that come with your position, my position, that a lot of people don't. And this isn't the celebrity.
Insulating yourself from the possibility of sin is a definite must in any position where you are prominent at all.
You've got to take the proper precautions. You've got to determine what is a worthy risk and what isn't. And I know this is what's a worthwhile risk for a guy who painted Muhammad in menstrual blood. The irony is not lost on me, but no, I wouldn't have been able to accomplish what we have. What moderate success we have, and I'm grateful for without my wife.